Hi everyone, happy Vlogmas day 6. Today's Vlogmas video is going to be a little bit different. I thought we'd have a sit down look at some of the picture books that I read when I was a child. And if you're new, hi, my name's Emma, I'm an illustrator. And I'm actually at the beginning stages of illustrating my own picture book, which will probably be self-published. But yeah, I love picture books, and I thought it might just be fun to show you some of the picture books from my childhood. So first up we have Rumpty Dudgett's Tower. So this is a retelling of a fairy tale which was originally by a man called Julian Hawthorne, and it says in the back that he wrote this in 1879. It is about a dwarf who collects children, puts them like on these pillars in his tower, and so it's one of those things about like not talking to strangers. The main characters in it are 3 children, 2 princes and 1 princess. Their mother, the queen, at the beginning of the story has to go away on a trip, and she leaves the cat in charge for some reason, and the cat is amazing. I think the cat was my favourite thing about this book, because he has these enormous yellow eyes which glow in the dark, and also he can fly. He also instructs the children to hang on to his tail to fly. But yes, I love the illustrations in this. It's kind of got like a quest aspect to it as well, because throughout the story, in order to rescue their brother, they have to go and meet all these different characters. Parts of it, kind of reading it back now, don't make that much sense to me, but then again, I guess fairy tales don't always really make sense. But yeah, I always really liked the illustrations in this, and the big cat with the giant eyes is just my favourite in it. So the next book is called Sunny Joe and the Ringdom Rhymes, and it is about a boy called Sunny who he's playing in the garden and he's trying to catch a butterfly, and he starts like tearing the wings off the butterfly, and then these 2 sort of like mythical creatures are there, and then they turn him into a snail to kind of make him see things from an insect's point of view. So he gets turned into a snail. This page is quite cool, like with the plumbing. And this one, oh my goodness. But yeah, so this was just quite a book for me as a child. Just it's quite sort of comical, but yeah, and I liked the fact that there was lots of transformations in it. So yeah, he turns into a snail and then he turns into a spider, and this is just quite a cool page. Actually, I think he's more like a slug there, but yeah, I just loved the kind of transformation aspect of it. Oh my goodness, I had forgotten. Look, it's a dandelion. That's cute. But yeah, and I just quite like the message in this book that, you know, you shouldn't go around like torturing things that are smaller than you. Winnie the Witch. I love Winnie the Witch. Actually, I've always loved, yeah, anything to do with magic and witches. I have loved for ages, and I remember telling my parents that I wanted to be a witch when I grew up. This is Winnie the Witch and her cat Wilbur, and she has a problem because she lives in a completely black house and she has a black cat, and I just think that it's really clever. I just love all the detail that's in the illustration, even though like most of this is all like kind of like ink. It's just quite unusual to have a picture book for a child that's got quite a lot of black in it, but it's still got these bright colours as well. So poor Winnie, and also poor Wilbur, because when Wilbur closes his eyes, then Winnie can't see him, which I can relate actually. It's a good thing that our house isn't black, because sometimes it's hard to see where a Tammy is. Then we have One Day in a Castle, which both me and my sister love this book. But yeah, this book is really special because it's got holes, so all the windows, like a different window opens each day, and it kind of matches, so you can see, I mean, this is a big candle right here, but when you turn the page over, that matches up. So that was always quite fun, and yeah, it was always fun to sort of like try and find like where was the open window. It was almost a bit like doing an advent calendar. We got one giant cat. Must be right up against the window. There are some other favourite books of mine which unfortunately I don't have. I don't know if my parents have still got them, but one of my favourite authors is Anthony Brown. I always loved how he would transform something into something else. You can tell transformation is something that I just really like as a theme, and one of my favourite books that he wrote is The Tunnel, which was about these two children. They go through this tunnel and they end up in these woods, and it's all a bit kind of like fairy tale like, and so like the trees have got these hidden objects in them. One of the trees looks like the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood, and the girl in it is wearing like this red coat. So yeah, I just like, you know, the sort of touch of like fairy tale aspect to that. Another one of my favourite books was The Min Pins by Roald Dahl, and this book actually wasn't illustrated by Quentin Blake. I know he did a lot of his books, but yeah, this was illustrated by somebody called Patrick Benson, and I love this story. It's about a boy, he's in the woods and there's this creature that's like breathing like smoke and fire, so he's like running away from it, and I love the pictures, the colours, just very atmospheric, and then it's just so magical. Whilst he's in the woods, he ends up finding all of these min pins, which are these tiny people that live in the trees, and yeah, all their little houses are in the trees. I love it so much. It reminds me slightly of The Borrowers as well, and yeah, I also love The Borrowers. I've just looked up on my phone, there is actually a version of the min pins which is illustrated by Quentin Blake, which is there. But the one that the book's falling over. The one that I'm talking about is the one that's by Patrick Benson. It's just such a magical book, and I loved imagining these tiny people that were living in the trees, and just, I think because there's so much detail in these illustrations, it just kind of made it really really easy to like imagine that this could be real. Yeah, so that one is one of my favourites, and I need to get a copy of it. Next we have Jim and the Beanstalk by Raymond Briggs. I love Raymond Briggs. He wrote The Snowman. I say there's no words to The Snowman, but you know the snowman story. So he illustrated that. And yeah, so this is Jim and the Beanstalk, not Jack and the Beanstalk. This copy, the cover is kind of falling off. It is well loved. This story is kind of like a sequel to Jack and the Beanstalk, because Jim, you know, it's a similar situation. There's no cow in this. It's just suddenly one day there's a beanstalk, and Jim decides to climb it, finds the giant, but the giant by this time is quite old. "Ah," said the giant, "a boy, a nice juicy boy. 3 fried boys on a slice of toast. That's what I used to enjoy eating in the old days, but I've got no teeth now. Come in, boy, you're quite safe." I love the use of scale here as well. So Jim and the giant have breakfast together. The giant is quite sort of fed up, and he tells Jim that, you know, he can't really see very well, his eyesight isn't as good. And Jim says, oh, don't you have any glasses? And the giant hasn't heard of glasses, so Jim explains, and he measures his head to go and get him a pair of glasses. And yeah, this is just why I love this book, just because they're making these giant things. It's just quite fun. I love this one of him carrying the glasses. So those are some of my favourite picture books from my childhood. Let me know what some of yours are in the comments below. There's probably lots that I've missed out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Vlogmas video, and I will see you tomorrow for the next one. Bye.